How to invest your 20s in India, a complete guide for beginners. Hey everyone, namaste. Did you know that over 30% of millennials in India are investing their money compared to just 5% just 2 decades ago? Isn't it amazing that more and more youngsters are investing, and you would like to know how to set up this secured method of financial future security? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe my channel, the YouTube channel Taresh Bhatia, and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video on how to create wealth. Today, I'm going to dive into how to invest in your 20s in India, a complete guide for beginners. This guide is designed to navigate the world of investments and secure your financial future with confidence. Now let's talk about some challenges you might face as a young investor. Investing in 20s can be daunting, especially in a market like India. With so many options, it's easy to get overwhelmed. But don't worry, by the end of this video and stay till the end, you will have a complete guide to investing as a beginner. Make sure that you like this video if you already have started your investment journey, and share this guide with your friends who may be looking for investing in their 20s. So, what's your investment options in India? Let's break it down. Mutual funds. These are great for beginners because professionals use them. Stocks. With a little research, individual companies can bring you good returns. Bonds. A safer option with fixed interest. Real estate. A long-term investment that requires more upfront capital. Each investment option has benefits and risk, but the earlier you start investing, the better. If you're finding this video so useful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This is Taresh, your financial specialist. By qualification, I'm a certified financial planner. This video, I'm helping you to understand step-by-step detailed guide how you can get started. So now let's get into the strategy for getting the complete guide for those two looking forward to investing in their 20s in India. So for those who are looking to investing in their 20s, I've got certain points. Pick up your pen and paper and do make notes. I'll give some summary at the end how you can remember all this. Now, the first or the second point is that small amounts become big if you're investing over a long period of disclaimer here. I am not going to recommend any stocks, bonds, mutual funds by name, but I'll give you the right strategies with my experience. Having been a certified financial planner, having been through various processes, my firm was an ex-SEBI registered investment advisor, RIA, and with my insurance, mutual funds, and real estate and all experiences put together, I will bring you very clear, crisp, short ideas where you can invest. So continue making notes. My next point is that the first thing when you look money, the first thing you should look at is insurance. And I'll break it down into first is life insurance. Certainly, you must have your life insurance in place, something like in your 20s costing you 1,000 rupees a month, 12 to 14,000 for a 1 crore term insurance called as pure insurance. So have that first in place with your documentation and your financials put together. Whether it is 20 lakhs cover, 50 lakhs cover, 1 crore will depend on your income, liabilities. Watch my other video, read my blog on blog.tareshbhatia.com to understand how you can plan your insurances. Secondly, I would say that you must own your own health insurance, not just the provided by your company if you're working in a private company or a government company, but even if you're an entrepreneur or a businessman, have your health insurance in place. I have a separate video on health insurance, but at this point I would say don't include your parents in this policy because they must have a separate policy because their age bracket determines your insurance premium. So you being single or husband, wife, or your 2 children, 1 children, this makes a family, and I mean take a floater health insurance at the moment to get started. Next is how much should you invest maximum depending on various factors. So I've divided this very simply into 50-30-20 rule. The 50 needs. So needs will be 50% of your monthly income. How much can you invest per month? I have a rule, 50-30-20 rule. Needs 50%. What necessity is every month is your household expenses, the bills and the fuel. Next couple of months. So putting that money aside, 30% for that, for buying phone, your vacations, eating out, movies. So all this is what you want with your money in the next 1 to 3 years, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. Last is very important, although it's not the last. Invest 20% of your monthly income, save and invest it. A separate video to explain how this investment should be done, whether it is in SIP, in mutual funds. So watch that video, find out in the link below. Read more on my blog, blog.tareshbhatia.com. Last point here is to explain that with this amount, and now you have every year your salary is increasing. Let's say your annual salary is increasing by 10%. Then you should increase what? The ratio should be out. Investing could become 50%, your wants and a little less in that ratio, depending on your goals, time horizon, and somewhere you need to understand that increasing your investments in your 20s is one of the most important. So I would put investing at 50% if you can do it while in 50s. Now let's go to the next point. Now, how much to invest? Minimum, how to find out what you should be investing. Simple rules I've given you, and you've understood this, how this apply at various stages in your life. Let's understand the next point. How do you get 1 crore in 20 years? If you're looking at a dream, that 20 years, let's take it. So how will this CAGR work out? Compounded annual growth return. As an investment example, I will take up an example at an assumed rate of return. I'm not saying this is what you will get. So let's take for illustration purpose, and I will take 1,000, I will take 5,000, 10,000 and give you a bigger investment example with simple understanding how you can get started. For clarity purposes, in mutual funds, assume that you have an aggressive profile. A risk appetite test, which we do for clients, indicates that you are an aggressive investor, and we are assuming that you are in your 20s. So how do you get 1 crore in 20 years? Let's take up an example and understand with an illustration. So with compounding annual growth return, this is compounded year to year. How much you should be investing, and can you increase your investments every year with your increasing salary every month? So just to share this example, that per monthing for a period of 20 years that an assume would get is 31 lakhs, as you can see in the illustration below. Increase that amount 10% every year, assuming your salary is increasing, but this 31 lakh becomes 50 lakh rupees. Now, if you take another example of 10,000 rupees per month invested for 20, an assumed return of 20% per year, then you get 3 crores, 16 lakhs, 14,000. If you delay this decision by 5 years, this amount has to be 2 crores. Now, inflation at 6%. You may ask that what is the value of 1 crore rupees? 3 crore 60 got. So the value would be at inflation of 6%, it will just be 1 crore 31. To beat this, if you increase your invest 10% every year, then this is the amount you can expect. Yes, crores. That's a present assumptions as per your investments. I'll give you another example. To continue giving an example, what is the SIP required to achieve crore rupees? Now here I'm taking an example PDF, and I will share it with a link at the end. Download this very simple example. So target of 1 crore rupees SIP per month, rate of return, let's say 10, 12, 15 and 20% per year, and a period of 5 year, 10 year, 15, 20. How much do you need to invest per month? So let's take 12% per year In 5 years, if you want 1 crore, you need to have a SIP of 1000. Go to a return of 15%. This is 1 lakh. Go to 20% return. This amount becomes 1 lakh. Now, coming of 20 years. So at 9%, you need to invest 1000 per month. And just go to 20%. So 20 years, 1 crore, you 1000 rupees a month. That's all. That's right. So this was a brief example. Now all this, if the assumptions are kept in mind, because this is just an illustration purpose to explain to you how you can start investing, but obviously all subject to the market conditions, mutual funds, investments are always subject, and all related documents should be studied. This is just an illustration based on the assumptions and of the returns only for the purpose of illustration I wanted to show here. There are no guaranteed returns here, and these are all subject to your risk appetite. So understand carefully, go by just the amounts given here. And now let's go to another. So the bigger question is, now that you know how you can get invested, but overall to build a balanced, diversified portfolio, where can you invest? So my recommendation like this: gold, 10%. So gold, you can invest with gold mutual funds, or you can invest in sovereign gold bonds. Equity mutual funds at your age in 20s, I would recommend 70%. Go for equities. If you have the availability of no, and you're very clear that 5 years, 10 years or 20 years goal I have in mind, then go for equity accordingly to 70% of your amount possible, of 70% of your income. Third, balanced equity funds for years, 2 to 3 years goals, 10% of the amount you can put in. And the last is funds. Now this can be, so it can be put into fixed deposits, or you can put it into debt mutual funds. Fixed deposits can be kept for the emergency gold fund purpose. You can go on adding more and more to the emergency fund when the need comes. Now the next point is, how do you invest? So the next point is, how do you invest? How to invest exactly? So I've explained where to invest. It's very simple. Go to an expert mutual fund distributor and do it in a monthly mode is the best way to have a SIP systematic investment plan, which can be updated and frequent intervals. If this is clear, give me on the comments below that you've understood how you liked it. And the next point which I want to cover is, how do you make your SIPs away from any other scams? Now I've diversified it into a very simple example here, saying that, so avoid scams, avoid real estate at this moment, avoid cryptocurrencies, schemes and deposits, which have set aside 10% of your monthly income and create an emergency fund equivalent to your 6 months of your monthly expenses. So keep that aside and stay away from any kind of schemes and calls you get and kind of people who come and tell you that this is a good idea. Finally, after you're kept away from scams, it's now to understand how you can get gifts, which I'd promised to you in the beginning. So I'm giving you 3 gifts. Ebooks are given in the description below. 3 SIP, how you can read more about SIP systematic investment plan and how you can plan accordingly. So download the books easily, free books for you. Read more, and I'm giving the link below on my blog.tarishbhatia.com/investing in your 20s in India. My disclaimer that this is all, and please do read more about the disclaimer on my site. And this is only for illustration purposes to explain to you how things can work for you better, and you can understand decisions, make your risk appetite very clear, and accordingly invest. So I hope that you have understood clearly whatever I explained, investing in your 20s. To wrap up things, investing in your 20s is one of the best decisions you can make for your financial future. Explore how to invest in your 20s in India by discussing mutual funds. I've explained the pros and cons, how much to do. So make sure to start small, stay consistent, and diversify your portfolio over a long period of time for better success. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear you about your investment experiences. So drop in a comment below, share your journey. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Taresh Bhatia, for more financial literacy videos. Stay tuned and happy investing. This is Taresh, your specialist.